All right, so here we are ready to take a riff and turn it into a full-blown melody. And actually we're going to make about 10 different melodies, all just from one simple little riff. And we're going to do it very quickly. But before we do that, let's talk about what not to do. So here's what I see happen a lot. You're like, all right, I'm going to make a melody in G major. All right, cool. So I know what my notes are. And all right, so I just need to stay on the notes that are in G major. So I don't know, put a note there, I guess, and maybe some notes there, and maybe a couple of those, and some of those, and cool. Yeah, all right, we're looking good. Oh, sorry, that guy's no good. Let's put him back up there. And then maybe we end up with something like that. Okay, what's that sound like? And, you know, it's not terrible, right? I mean, it's in time, obviously, because we programmed it. And it works in that it's using all the notes of the G major scale. And I actually even happened, just kind of by accident, to even kind of focus on G itself. I didn't really even do that intentionally. It's like, as an idea, it kind of works. But my guess is you probably can't remember what you just heard there because it wasn't memorable enough. There wasn't enough repetition built into it. So it's not catchy. I mean, even if we listen to it again. Right? And actually, I unintentionally put a little bit of repetition. Like this little rhythm right here is kind of similar to this little rhythm right here, but then there's some mess here and some mess here. And, you know, it's just not catchy. But you know what? This first little bit here, like, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So what if we took that? And let's just say that that's our riff. So I'm going to just copy that real quick, and we're going to go into a new clip here. Let's go ahead and paste it in, and here's what we got. Okay, that's groovy. I can do that. All right. So how do we then take this thing? Oh, actually, hold on. I can't. We got to fix this first. Let's give it at least a little bit of velocity variation. All right, so now how do I take this thing and turn it into a full-blown melody? All right, so here's the quick approach. So we're going to first of all set our melody here to be 4 measures long. So we'll make this a 4-bar clip. I'm going to just select everybody, Command A, Command C. And we could just, you know, straight up paste this in 4 times, right? And then that will give us a 4-measure melody. Now, in reality, it's not really a 4-measure melody. It's really a 1-measure melody. We're playing 4 times, right? It'd be the same thing as looping this 4 times. So in order to make this feel like it's actually 4 measures long, we got to have something change in here at some point. So I like to do the easiest, super simple thing we can do is just change something small in one of these. So let's maybe just make a little change at the end here. Even if we do this, let's just take this guy, make him a little louder. Right? Even a little tiny change makes it feel like, oh, this is actually a 4-bar pattern, not just a 1-bar thing over and over. Another thing we can do to really make this feel like a 4-bar chunk is leave a little bit more space at the end here. So what if we just take this guy and put him right there instead and get rid of those 2 guys. And you know what? I feel like this guy needs to be right there. So we get this. Yeah, cool. All right. So the way we would kind of talk about this in terms of what the structure of this melody is we would call this would be called an A prime melody, right? So you can see that right there, A prime. The little apostrophe means prime. So the little prime, the apostrophe means just a variation of the A phrase or the A riff. So that's these guys right here. That's my A, sorry, including this guy too, right? And then we hear it again, all those guys again. That's my A again. And then another A, exactly the same thing. And then finally, this right here is built off of this, right? It's just a variation of it, especially before when I had just the one note at the end there. All right, so that's our first version. We'll call that A prime. So now let's take this whole thing here and let's copy it and let's make another version of this. So what if we, instead of just making a little variation here at the end, what if we actually made something really truly different? So I'm going to bring back my little scale guide here, and let's do here, we'll just change this up how it starts. There we go. And so then this, now we've got is what's called an AAAB. Right, so we've got A 1, 2, 3 times, and then we have a totally different phrase at the end here, which is a B phrase. Now what we could do is we could also, let's go ahead and copy this one more time. What if we, oops, let's go to the right one there, paste it in there. What if we made this second A phrase here just a little bit different? So like what if we took this guy and just popped him over one like we did before? So now we get this. All right, cool. Now we're starting to get something that's got a lot more variation in it. It feels like it's always kind of developing, but at the same time, it's also very familiar because there's some repetition built in. All right, so let's keep going here and let's move on to an AABA sort of situation. So let's grab this to here. And then now let's take this third measure. So now we've got A, B, A. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, and we could, this might not be the best B phrase because of where it's at. It's in the middle here. You know, what I like to do is make something even a little bit more drastically different with some different actual note lengths. Let's try something like that. And then this would be a great spot to have actually a, well, we're going to do that, I guess, in the next one. So let's go ahead and copy that. That's our AABA. And then let's go over here to our AABA prime. And then let's just put a little tiny change at the end here. Bring him a little louder. There we go. How about that? Yeah, cool. And we could even do, shift this guy over, maybe to there. That way we get a little bit more space at the end of our melody. Kind of take a breath. Yeah, there we go. And that feels a little bit more like a period, right, at the end of a sentence. And so part of the reason it sounds like a period is because we're actually ending on a G. We're actually ending on tonic. If I put that somewhere else, it's not going to sound the same. Right, it feels like kind of incomplete, and you know, that can work too. That feels more like a comma, like, oh, there's still more to come. And then it feels like we've kind of resolved back at the beginning when we start with the G again. All right, so let's keep going. Got a couple more options here. So we've got, could do an ABAB. So let's copy this whole thing here. Let's go back into here. Now, I gotta tell you, this is not my favorite. And so then if we copy this AB over here, we've got ABAB, right? Well, yeah, but really, this isn't really a 4-measure thing. This is really a 2-measure thing being played twice. So your ear's not going to hear this as 4 bars. It's just going to hear the 2-bar phrase over and over and over. So that, yeah, I mean, technically it's there, but here's a better idea. Let's go ahead and copy that. And let's go into A prime B, right? So let's get even just a little difference right here in this second A phrase. Yeah, cool. And then if we wanted to take that even a step further, what we could do is do like an A, B, A prime, B prime, right? Where the ending's a little bit different. So maybe we do this. We make, instead of this B phrase ending on tonic, so it feels like it's done, maybe we put it somewhere else that's not tonic. Let's try that. Cool, and that sounds like it's a little bit more final, right? Like this is kind of a little comma right here, and then we end it with a period on the tonic over here. All right, so let's keep going. We've just got a couple more options here. So we've also got the ABBA type structure. So let's grab all these guys here, copy it into our ABBA. And so this gives us now ABBA. Yeah, that was kind of cool, right? So you get kind of this internal repetition, which is kind of unexpected, but then we're brought back to something that's familiar from the beginning again. And especially since we technically made this, technically ended as an A prime here, which again gives it that kind of period like we're done. But just for the sake of completeness, we could also take that and make a B, B prime, A prime, I guess is what this is going to turn out to be. What if we just take one note? That's all we got to do, one note. And so it's going to still be heard as a B phrase. We're going to hear this as a repetition. And I should point out, the reason we're going to hear this as a repetition, but a variation, is because I'm changing notes at the end of the phrase. If I were to change stuff a lot at the beginning, your ear's not going to pick this up as a repetition of this. So that's why I'm kind of focusing my efforts on changing stuff towards the end of the phrase. Nice little 4-bar chunk, right? And then finally, we could do an ABAA. So that would look something like this. Let's grab that guy, put you down here. And so you've got our A. So now I've got ABAA. And so that sounds like this. Yeah, and you know, it's going to work better, I think, if we really give it a little bit more space here. My favorite was really more this, where we pushed it even a little bit earlier, like right there. And so technically that's going to give us a prime. That sounds like this. Yeah, and that little variation in there, again, we hear it as a repetition, but it gives it a little more finality to it. So that's, remember where we started here, you know, we started with just this one riff, right? It was just one simple, I mean, it's 5 notes, right? Super catchy little 5 notes, all in G major. And we now turned it into, you know, like 10 different options. And if you wanted to, you could string these together, right? So you could make 8-bar phrases out of all of this, especially if you use things that are related to each other. So like, what if we did a BA? We'll start over here. Right, and so now you've actually got an 8-bar chunk between this guy and this guy, but it all still has that same repetition built into it, so it makes it nice and catchy and easy to groove with. So there you go. That's taking a riff, turning it into not just one melody, but a whole bunch of really well-structured melodies.